Hello and welcome back everybody. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to show the ongoing progress into the BudgetWise app and obviously showing some new improvements that I want to make while I'm working on anti-gravity. Now, what I have recently done is I did decide to update my laptop. So I am working on a new laptop today. And so in order to do that, I had to transfer over the files that I was currently working on my old computer. And so what I did is I just used a USB drive to move the information over. And then as I was working on that, I also downloaded a new app an app that it's called WhisperFlow, and what WhisperFlow allows you to do, just if you're curious, this is the name of the app, or Flow, I believe it's called. But anyway, so what it can do is it can basically listen to your speech and then write it into text. And this way, it helps you with providing more context. You can basically increase your words per minute by talking rather than texting. So it should be a lot better when I'm interacting with AI. I'm trying it for my first time to see how it works, and so far it has done great. I basically did this prompt earlier where I told it to, I gave it the instructions of what I needed to do. So I said, I have downloaded the files now into a USB folder. The folder, you can locate it under backups, and then you can search for the Gemini app, or the app that I was referring to earlier that has all the latest information about the BudgetWise app that I'm building. Could you search through my folders or search through the computer and find a folder, and let me know if that's good enough to continue, please. And then it did some search. It asked me for some permissions. I gave it permissions and it actually found the app. So the next step now is based on the questions that it's asking me. It's saying if I want to copy the project, if I want to review the current state, and then if I want to continue building a specific feature. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead, and in order to bring up WhisperFlow, I have to control window, and there we go. So it does need me to actually hold it while I'm actually telling it what to do. Yes, I want you to please go ahead and copy the project as well as review the current state, and I want to improve the UI. Right now it still seems pretty clunky and it doesn't seem like it flows, and you can't really see the difference between the web app and the actual Android app. So I want to focus first on building a nice looking web app, and then we can go ahead and focus on building and publishing the Android app. Let's go ahead and tell me what we need to do next. Okay. So click a text box and then use Alt C. Okay. So it looks like I should have clicked on the text box, but looks like I can still do Alt Shift Z, and then it will copy everything I said. So that's great. So it says, yes, I want you to please go ahead and copy the project as well as review the current state. I want to improve the UI. Right now it still seems pretty clunky and it doesn't seem like it flows. You can really see the difference between the web app and the actual Android app. So I want to focus first on building a nice looking web app, and then we can go ahead and focus on building and publishing the Android app. Let's go ahead and tell me what we need to do next. All right. So we're going to go ahead and set that off. Now, obviously, based on what I'm seeing and based on my practical experience with working with AI, is the better context you give it, the better your results. So right now, my prompt, I'd say it's probably like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It probably needs a lot more technical aspects in terms of, like, instead of saying it clunky, I could have said other words, or I could have used other technical words in order to help it improve, but that's fine. Right now, it's going ahead and looks like it's copying the project. It's going to verify the project runs locally, review the current UI and UX state. That's what I could have said. I would say the UI, UX needs review and needs to be improved. I also want to give it examples, right? Previously, I did give it some examples, but I think I need to be better at what type of examples and what the real outcome looks like in order to help improve my end result. That's really, I think, part of what you need to really understand when you're working with any sort of AI tool, and when you're definitely prompting back or prompting for just in general, that, the better technical know-how, the better detail you add, the better result you're going to get. But obviously keep in mind that if you are working on something that requires prompting, it's gonna require a lot of iteration. It's not just gonna be a one-time hit. I don't think there are some examples where yes, out of one prompt you'll get an application or a tool or something that you're building that works really well. But I don't think in general, especially for someone like a beginner like me, that will get the result right out of the gate. But that's fine, right? That's part of the process and part of learning. So let's see here kind of what happens. So it's asking me to run the command. I'm gonna go ahead and accept. I'm going to dismiss this for a sec here. Part of the reason why I decided to get a new machine is that I did notice that on my old machine, it was an Intel 5, I believe. It was also RAM wise, I think I had 8 gigs of RAM, or it might actually be less than that. So the RAM wasn't great, or at least not for what I want to do now, which is continue to develop apps and obviously be able to help anyone that needs help with setting up any automations or building any sort of application, software, process in their business or in their personal life with this. And so I figured that I would get a new laptop that would have a lot more processing power. So I did get the IdeaPad Slim 3, I believe it's called. Yeah, IdeaPad Slim 3. It does have a AMD Ryzen 5 processor. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, and it does have a 1 terabyte of hard drive. So that's, I think, gonna be more than enough for me for now. But yeah, let me know if you have worked or if you're working with the IdeaPad for Lenovo. I also did go with Lenovo because I know that they are pretty reliable, and I've had good experience overall working with Lenovo, especially as my previous employer, they used to carry a lot of Lenovo, so that's why I decided to go for it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, and in the meantime, let's go ahead and see what's happening here. Okay, so now it looks like it wants me to download nodejs.org. It's giving me two options. Option 1 to recommend download. Let's go ahead and see if it can go ahead and do that all on its own. I want you to go ahead and download nodejs.org into the machine. Can you go ahead and do that, please? I should have said download and install, but anyways, let's give it a few minutes and see if it can actually go ahead and download it. So right now, because we don't have the Node.js, looks like we won't be able to. Okay, as you can see, it's decided to go the option number 2 route. I believe this one is because it's using PowerShell, right? Which I believe it's able to download and has more control than actually going to the website itself. Okay, so now you might not be able to see it, but I do have a notification about Node.js, and I'm going to go ahead and download it. I'm going to go ahead and accept it. So that looks like it's working. Wait and see. Okay, so it looks like that's installed successfully. And now let me verify the installation is install the project dependencies. Okay, so it's asking me to run a command. We'll go ahead and accept. Okay, so it's installing the dependencies and it's starting the development server. Okay, so let's give it a few more minutes and see what happens next. Okay, so looks like it's gonna download the Node.js, and it's basically built everything it needs to in order to test it out. And I believe it also has done some UI features. And let's go ahead and click and see. So it's gonna go ahead, bring me to the app. Okay, so this isn't the best version of it. I think I've seen better versions. So that's the reminder. Okay, so analytics, continue, track your spending. Okay, import transactions from your bank or add them manually. See where your money goes at a glance. Okay, next, create budgets for different categories and get alerts when you close your limit. And now we go ahead and get started. Okay, so I do like this. It's actually not that bad. Tap button to add your first transaction. Okay, it looks okay. It's telling me the right day. I like this piece here, but there's obviously, so the A insights is still not looking the best. Spending trend. Okay, doesn't look too bad. What else here? Okay, so the app is not bad. Like overall, it's okay. The sidebar menu, this needs to be fixed, obviously. And so what else? So the sidebar menu needs to be fixed. The insights are not too bad, but okay. So now what I wanted to look at now is to make those improvements. So we're gonna go ahead and click on. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up snippet. Bring up the snipping tool. Append it to the taskbar. There we go. Okay. So, okay. So let's copy this now. We'll go ahead and save it. So it looks like it's saved to the screenshots folder. So, okay. So let's go and see if it's there. Screenshots. Let's see. Screenshots. Okay. Screenshots. Okay. So there it is. My first one. Okay, so let's go here and go back to the app, gravity, okay, and say checklist, summary parts show colorful, gradient navigation animate when clicking tabs, dark mode enabled so works, app is responsive on mobile sizes. Okay, so let me go ahead and media, it should be under screenshots, come on. Here, screenshots, cheers, screenshots. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we're gonna use Flow or Whisper Flow, I believe it's called, to talk to it. So I looked at the overall page, and the introduction part, like the floating part where the user would be choosing the type of currency. It doesn't look great. It looks like it still needs a lot of work. It's very basic, like the lines, the text is just too basic right now. We need to make sure that it looks like a professional app, a financial professional app, so that it's intuitive for when the user goes in. Take some initiative or take some inspiration from one of the best apps that organizations use to develop financial apps. So go ahead and do some research and take a look and see what you find. Additionally, the sidebar is also not working properly. It basically covers like the main menu. It's all over top of the sidebar, so this needs to be fixed. And right now, the main focus is so that it works on the computer. We want to make sure that the web app is working really well. And so let's make 100% focus on building something that a user will be working and testing on their laptop or their desktop computer. Okay, Alt Shift to paste. So Alt Shift that. Okay, so say here again, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you. So it says, so I look at the overall page and introduction, the floating part where you're choosing where the user would be choosing to type the currency. It doesn't look great. Okay, so it's mostly looking good. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what it says or see what it does based on this information. Okay, we'll go ahead and let it think for a bit while it does its thinking and it generates the new information. Okay, so looks like the fixes have been applied. So let's go ahead and click on it and voila. Okay, so that's a lot better. We can see transactions, we can see a budget here, and we can see some settings as well. So we can change to like a dark mode if we want to. We can go ahead and change the currencies. Okay, so there are a bunch of currencies. That's good. There's daily reminders, diagnostics, how it works. Okay, so there's a quick how it works here. Import transactions or add them manually to see where your money goes. Create monthly budgets for each category and get alerts when approaching limits. AI analyzes your spending patterns and suggests ways to save more. Take a photo of receipts to automatically create expense entries. Okay, so that looks a lot much cleaner. And then let me see here, redo setup. So, okay, so basically now when I want to go online, I can just simply select which type of currency I want to choose. Now, one of the things I notice is it allows me to select multiple currencies. So that's something to go ahead and note and say that I shouldn't do that. But let's go ahead and click next. So you can get these here, which I mean they look okay, but there's a lot more room in the page. So we'll make a note of that as well and tell it that I want this to be better. So I'm gonna go ahead and open some notes in here, and let's tell it here. Okay, so I'm currently using an app, and I'm noticing that the first page where the user can select the currency, there are multiple selections, which is fine, but intuitively it should not allow the user to select more than one currency. The idea is that the user can go ahead and use one particular currency, and then if they want to do a switchback, we can build a function in the platform where, let's say that I can say this app or this particular transactions were in US dollars. I want you to go ahead and convert them to Canadian dollars or vice versa. But I just wanted to make it clear that at the start, when a user is accessing the page for the first time, they should only be able to select one type of currency, not two. The next part where it's called stay on track and helping the users with remembering and adding notifications, it looks okay. But for the web app, there's still lots of room, and rather than making it so that it's very clunky, it should be more aesthetically pleasing. Like there should be a line. There's a lot of redundancies with icons as well. So for the daily icons, there's a calendar. For the weekly icons, there's the same calendar. And for the monthly icons, there's a similar calendar. And it just doesn't look pleasing. It should be like only one line. And I feel like there should be a lot more work that could be done in order to make this more simple, more fresh, to kind of keep with the flow of the app itself. Please make those notes. I'll shift that. Okay, so as you can see here, those are the notes that I just added, which is perfect. For this part, it seems okay. Your pricing matters. We never collect personal financial data. Analytics helps us understand how features are used so we can improve the app. You can change this time in settings. Okay, so now track your spending, import transactions from your bank, or add them manually, see where your money goes at a glance. Okay, so let's make a note of this as well. So there is a page that's called track your spending page. At the very corner, there is a small little icon of a bar chart, which looks just very small for the amount of space that the whole page takes up in the windows, especially when you're using a big screen. This makes it very clunky, and it doesn't look good in terms of the flow. So think of a different way of where you can get this part in terms of like the setup and adding it. Especially think of it when the user is logging in for the first time. Perhaps if there is a lot of room, instead of using so many pages, put it into one page where the user cannot kind of see all these options and select them, rather than going through multiple pages and a lot of pages having just large space of like very little text with a lot of blank or like just large space that's not being used properly. So think of that and think of ways that you can fix this so that it just makes it more user friendly, because right now it's just not user friendly. It's taking up a lot of the time for the user to get to the actual app and actually start playing with it. Okay, so there we go. We have a lot of notes here. Next. Okay, so we can go ahead and hit next. Same thing here, create budgets for different categories and get alerts when you're close to your limits. Okay, get smart insights. Okay, so that's fine. This transaction part too, I don't like it. It's just very, very clunky. It doesn't look great. Okay, let's add another note here. So I really like the dashboard page overall. We could use some work on the timing filters like the week, month, and all. They do seem a little bit too small in terms of the amount of page that exists. However, when it comes to the total balance, income, expenses, those cards are really great. I like how those look. I like the size of the text. I also like the size of the actual values that we're gonna be showcasing in there, and I like overall the space. So overall, that very first part is good, just with some minor tweaks on the part of the week, month, and all. I think we can adjust that so that it doesn't just look too small. But at the same time, I don't want it to be the main focus. I just want it to be easy for the user to recognize that they can actually go through those filters and to make it clear in which of the filters are in. The next part where is the AI insights. I do like the little star AI icon. I think that could go along on the same line as the AI insights. What I don't like is the refresh button. It just looks too dated. It looks way too old. It looks like it's not flowing like well with kind of the theme that we got going on. Same thing with the trend icon. It looks a little bit dated. So I want to make sure that you're searching through and let me know if giving you assets or giving you icons that will help make this look more up to date so that we can improve it. The next part in terms of the chartings, the spending chart, the spending breakdowns, those look great. I need to still test it in order to see if it works or not. Okay, there we go. Okay, so all right, now transactions. So the transactions, the budget, all right, the settings part. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to anti-gravity and we're gonna talk to it. Folder is like also. Okay, here we go. So let's go next here. Okay, so I've reviewed some of the pages. For the most part, there is an improvement of what we had in the previous version, so that's a good start. However, there's still some things that we need to improve. What I do have now is I've made some notes. I want you to go ahead, take my feedback, review my feedback, review the app entirely, and make the changes accordingly. Don't change anything that is currently working, and don't change anything that I haven't mentioned that needs to be fixed. I have tried my best to give you as much detail as possible. What I want you to do after you've completed that is I want you to do one more thorough review and ensure that everything that's supposed to be working, it's functioning properly. And again, I want you to focus entirely on getting this app ready and good to publish on the web. This is just going to be a web app version, so that way we can go ahead and publish it online as soon as possible. All right, so here we go, and here are going to be the notes that I have written here. And like, I think that using this tool, it allows me to write so much, or not write, but turn my words into text much quicker than before, right? And I think I do really like this because it is so much quicker, like to actually explain my thoughts and tell it what I wanna do. And this is actually, so far, I think it's gonna help me implement, and it's gonna help me develop this app much quicker, right? So that's it for now. We're gonna leave it there for now, just to kind of give a quick update on where we're at, what we're building, where we wanna take it. Obviously, the main idea is to launch it online, make sure that it's actually working. We gotta go through the whole testing process of building it so that people can use it on their phone. But right now the main focus is so that it works really nicely on the computer. So on at least on the web, right? When I go on the web. So let's go ahead and I'll sign off for now, but I'll be sure to provide an update on where this is